Hello YouTube, we're on the Real Programming channel. I'm its host, my name is Andrei. This is our 10th lesson. I greet you, welcome. We'll talk about HTML and JavaScript. We'll talk about test drive the planets. And let's go. You've seen how to use document.getElementById to get access to an element, and how to use innerHTML to change the content of that element. Let's do it for real now. Here is the HTML code for the planets. Where is this? Oh, so we'll find it. Okay, for the planets, we've got a script element in the head where we put the code and 3 paragraphs for the green, red and blue planets. If you haven't already, go ahead and type in the HTML and JavaScript to update the DOM. We added the JavaScript to the head of this page. And just like you saw before, we're getting the P element with the ID green planet and changing its content. Here is the P element you're going to change with JavaScript. After you got it typed in, go ahead and load the page into your browser and see the dumb magic happen on the green planet. Oh, Houston, we got a problem. The great planet still show all is well. What's wrong? What's wrong? I triple checked my markup and the code, and this just isn't working for me either. I'm not seeing any changes to my page. Oh yeah, we forgot to mention one thing. Most of the time it makes sense to start executing your JavaScript code after the page is fully loaded. The reason? Well, if you don't wait until the page has loaded, then the DOM won't be fully created when your code executes. In our case, the JavaScript is executing when the browser first loads the head of the page and before the rest of the page has loaded, and so the DOM hasn't been fully created yet. And if the DOM isn't created, then the PID is equal green planet. Elements doesn't exist yet. So what happens? The call to get the element with an ID of green planet isn't going to return anything because there is no matching elements. And so the browser just keeps moving on, renders the page anyway after your code has run. So you will see the page rendered, but the text in the green planet won't be altered by the code. What we need is a way to tell the browsers run my code after you fully loaded in the page and created the DOM. Let's see how to do that. Next, you can't mess with the DOM until the page has fully loaded. But how do you tell the browser to execute your code only after it is loaded? To tell the browsers to wait before executing code, we're going to use 2 parts of JavaScript you haven't seen much of yet, the window objects and the function. We'll get to the details of both this later. For now, just go with it so you can get the code to work. Update your JavaScript code like this. Okay. Don't forget, remember please, you'll find all the code and materials of this lesson under this video in the description, link to Google Drive. Please download the code. And let's talk about next. First, create a function named init and put your existing code in the function. Notice that your code goes between an opening brackets and closing brackets. Here is we are setting the value of the window on load property to the function name. This says when the page is fully loaded, execute the code that is in it. reload the page. Go ahead and reload the page and see if you have the answer. Yes. Now we see the new content in the Green Planet P element. Isn't it great? Well, what is great is that now you know how to tell the browsers to wait until the DOM has completely loaded before running code that accesses elements. Okay, exercise next. I will show you some HTML code. This is our HTML code. For a playlist of songs, except that the list is empty. It's your job to complete the JavaScript below to add the songs to the list. Fill in the blank with the JavaScript that will do the job. Check your answers with your solution at the end of this chapter. In the next lesson, here is the HTML for the page. Here is our script. This code should fill in the list of songs below in the URL. Fill in the blanks with the missing code to get the playlist file filled out. Here is the empty list of songs. The code above should add content to each in the playlist. When you get the JavaScript working, this is what the web page will look like after you load the page. So, what else is the DOM good for anyone? Anyway, the DOM can do a fair bit more than we've seen so far, and we'll be using a lot of other functionality as we move forward in the book. But for now, let's just take a quick look so you got in the back of your mind. Look up and retrieve one or more elements from the DOM. Create new elements. Get elements from the DOM. Of course, you already know this because we've been using document.getElementById, but there are other ways to get elements as well. In fact, you can use tag names, class names, and attributes to retrieve not just any one element, but a whole set of elements, say all elements in the class on underscore cell, and you can get form values this user has typed in, like in the next of an input element, and add them to the DOM by attaching them to another element in the tree. Remove existing elements. Create or add elements to the DOM. You can create new elements, and you can also add those elements to the DOM. Of course, any changes you make to the DOM will show up immediately as the DOM is rendered by the browsers, which is a good thing. Remove elements from the DOM. You can also remove elements from the DOM by taking a parent element and removing any if its children. Again, you will see the element removed in your browser window as soon as it is deleted from the DOM. Access or create an attribute of an element like ID or class. Get and set the attributes of elements. So far you accessed only the text content of an element, but you can access attributes as well. For instance, you might want to know what an element class ID and then change the class it belongs to on the fly. And can we talk about JavaScript again? Or how to store multiple values in JavaScript? You've been hanging right in there with JavaScript and the DOM, and before we let you get some rest and relaxation, we wanted to tell you about one more JavaScript type that you'll use all the time, the array. Let's say you wanted to store the names of 32 ice creams flavors on the item numbers of the items in your user's shopping cart, or maybe the outside temperature by the hour. To do that with variables would get acquired. For especially if we need to store tens hundreds of thousands of values, likely we got the array to help out. and you can add more values to the array as needed. Any array holds a collection values. Each value has the index number starting with 0, and for every index in the array there is a corresponding value. How to create an array? We need to create an array before we use it, and we need to signate the array itself to variables, so we have something to refer to it by in our code. Let's create the array above with hourly temperatures. Here is our variable for the array, and here is how we actually create a new empty array. We'll come back to the syntax in chapter 4, but for now just know that it creates a new array. To add new values to the array, we just reference the index number of the array items and give it a value. Just like variable in JavaScript, you can assign any value or type of value in the array index. Or if you're really in a hurry, JavaScript gives a shortcut to type in an array, what we call a literal array, to create and then initialize it with values. This creates the same arrays as above, just with a lot less code. And adding another item to the array, if at any time you can keep adding new items your array simply by using the next unused index like this. By using a new index, we got a new item in the array. Using your array items, you can get the value of an array item just by references the array variable with an index like this. To access the value of the temperature at index 5, we just reference the array index 5. We know the size of your array, or else you can easily get the size of array by referring a property of array called length. We talk more about properties in the next chapter, and now that we know how to get the length of any array, let's see if we can combine what you know about loops with arrays. Okay, and the exercise and apps, the pre-o-matic. We'll talk about this in the next lesson, and this is our 10th lesson about JavaScript HTML is over. Thanks for watching, subscribe to my channel, do exercise, drink more water. That's all, thank you, bye.